How's it going? I'm about to head outside and do a quick plein air painting before my painting class starts here in like an hour and a half. So I'm hoping that I can get this painting done within an hour tops. So I've got my gear all packed up here in my trusty backpack. I'm gonna go walk around the neighborhood that I live in and try to find an interesting view to do either a 1:3 ratio painting or like a 2 let me see, like a 2:3 or 3:4 ratio, one of those. So let's see what happens. So I've been walking around for like 5 or 10 minutes now, and I'm pretty close to our house, which is good, just in case this takes a little more than an hour. But you know, I like some of these trees that are in people's yards and these shrubs that are lining a lot of the fronts of houses. You know, I was looking at some of those shrubs on that house. I really like the dome shapes that they have and the really high contrast form relationships between the planes that are in light to the planes that are in shadow. So I might just decide to go with a portion of the house with those shrubs. So as I'm setting up my stuff, one of the things that's a little bit weird about painting in neighborhoods like this is that you're often staring directly at people's houses, and sometimes people are retired or they work from home, and the first 5 or 10 minutes as I'm setting up my stuff is always a little bit awkward. I feel like people are always kind of curious about what I'm doing and if they should be worried about what I'm doing. But today I'm looking at this view. I'm looking at the back side of this house because I really like that triangular shadow that's coming onto this part of the bush or that hedge right there. And just that really almost like Pac-Man kind of shape that the highlighted area has. So that really caught my eye. I like the sharp angles of the roof line and the shadows from the roof on the house. So I think I'm gonna end up cropping in part of this view here because it has a really great balance of big, abstract, geometric shapes. So like I said, I have raw umber from Michael Harding and cadmium yellow as my main colors. I'll be using his titanium white with dryers, so this will help speed up the drying speed. I have my palette knife in here. Since it is windy, I might have to clip my panel to the side lid of my box. And then I also have a tube of oleo gel that I just filled myself from a jar of oleo gel. Palette box. There are a few other colors on the palette, but I'm not going to be using those today. Ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, cad red light, cadmium yellow. So maybe I'll squirt that pile here and use a little bit of that. And then this is actually Utrecht titanium white. But all right, everything's pretty much set up and ready to go. Got my brushes over here, my palette knife. I just have to add my tubes of paint. And I think I'm just gonna jump right in once I have my paint mixed up. I'm not really gonna think too much about the value. I'm gonna try to match the value structures that I can see in my view. I'll probably end up with something similar to this view that we're looking at right now. I like this big diagonal line from the roof, these big shapes here. And like I said, this interaction of light and shadow on that second shrub is gonna be the focal point. So I might place that somewhere on the lower right corner or in the upper right corner, something like that. We'll see. Or maybe over on the other side, who knows. gonna see if maybe I can get my phone to attach to the tripod somehow to be able to film like a time lapse. But this is where I'm at right now. I've broken up that big highlight shape of the side of the house and located some of those big relationships, and I'm gonna end up wiping out like the sky and some of the other highlighted areas with my paper towel. This is gonna help build a lot of underlying harmony within the color structure by blocking in one single color throughout a lot of the painting, so that I can go in like this and lighten up areas or soften up those marks, because it's really diluted with my Gamsol right now. So I was trying to mount it onto the tripod, and the issue I was having is that this top part here is broken. It doesn't actually stay locked, and the phone just kind of like twists down and doesn't really hang on. So it's just not really strong enough. I might have to come up with a better system with some clamps or something, but that's on my list of things to try out for this month. But so I just checked my watch, and it's a few minutes after 3 o'clock, which means I only have 15 minutes left to paint. This is going to be a really loose sketch, which I think is good for me. I've been kind of getting used to tightening up my sketches and maybe overworking areas of them. So this is a good time for me to just focus on the abstract side of things. Let's go ahead and paint that wall of the house. Some white and yellow. Just fill this in real quick. Yep, that already feels a lot better. Just to not be looking at that stark white, unpainted panel. I don't know if I like that line I just put in there. Okay, it is not 3:20 right now. I was gonna say 9:20. It is 3:20. I think I have to call it here. You know, I might just leave it how it is. I kind of like how loose it is. Sign it real quick. But yeah, it has a nice overall structure. I definitely like the warmness of this limited palette. I'll keep playing around with it. I think it was a little too transparent this time around, but I could see if this was a 2-session painting, or if I was here for another hour or two, I think it could really build up to some more opaque moments if I was using more titanium white, or just pulling back the Gamsol a little bit more. But you know, I still really like the simplicity of what's here, and I have to get going, so it has to be done. Which, like I said earlier, I think sometimes that's good for me to have that kind of limited amount of time. But as you can see, the longer I look, the more I start to find little things that can be added in or tweaked. So at some point, you just have to put the brush down and pack up. So, okay, I'm gonna call it here. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.